At today's session, we have lined up for you melodious renditions. We have a lecture from a super experienced soul, engrossed 24/7 in the service of Vihangam Yoga. We will also have a Q&A session to clear your doubts after we have delved deeper into today's topic of seva or service. I would now like to invite our first speaker of the day. Mr. Shekhar is a quality and compliance professional based out of Sydney, Australia. He is an experienced practitioner of Vihangam Yoga meditation. I request Mr. Shekhar to introduce the audience to Swarved and point us to the relevant verses of Swarved which espouse the cause of seva. Please welcome Mr. Shekhar.
Jai Sadhguru everyone. Thank you, Saurabh ji. As per today's topic, I've tried to pick the most relevant verses from Swamiji's Swarved. It is very important for all of us to understand that we talk about seva, but when you want to progress in the path of spirituality, it is equally important to know whose seva and what is the meaning of that seva. So I'll read a few verses from here. Kamdhenu var sant jan पूर्ण कामना होय शुद्ध हृदय से ये बड़ भागन मिल सोय. Sadguru, or the Supreme Saint, is like a Kamdhenu, with whose wishes all desires can be fulfilled. It is with great fortune that one gets an opportunity to meet such saints. One must serve him selflessly without any expectations. If we know in the old days, it was a custom and a tradition which we are aware of that all rishis, they used to have lots of cows. And anyone who was seeking any sort of worldly desires, they used to reach out to such rishis and pray in their feet to help them fulfilling their desires. The rishis actually offered them, "Can you serve my cows in my cowshed?" And in the process of offering that unexpected seva and looking after the cows, they usually used to get their benefit and fulfill their desires. This is what this doha is referring to. A Sadguru is like a Kamadhenu. When you serve him selflessly, your desires can certainly be realized. दुर्लभ यह सत्य मार्ग को भाग्यवान नर पार सेवा जित प्रिय शिष्य में यह अनुभव गति आए. Through this doha, what we are trying to explain here is that when you offer your prayers to the Sadguru Dev, it is his blessing through the selfless seva, an individual soul develops the higher spiritual attributes. And only when you have developed those higher spiritual attributes that you are able to find the rare path of Brahma Vidya Vihangam Yoga. The experiences are only possible if one is serving the Sadguru with full devotion. Then such individuals get the complete benefit of understanding Brahma Vidya Vihangam Yoga and walking the path. Only such committed individuals are able to experience the path of Brahma Vidya and achieve the divine light. आगे द्वारा बंद है भक्ति भेद बहु भेद बिन सद्गुरु की भक्ति के प्रभु की भक्ति न वे. The mind keeps us entangled in the realm of physical world at all times. It is only through the practice of meditation under the guidance and blessings of his Sadguru that a seeker is able to reach and go beyond the secret door to enlightenment. Without the bhakti and seva of a Sadguru, you cannot reach there. The path remains invisible, secret, and the door is not even visible to anyone. A Sadguru is the only entity who can guide you through the path by his experiential knowledge, and ultimately a soul is able to achieve the enlightenment and be in a state of bliss. Through these dohas, what Sadgurudev wants to explain to us is that a seva of a Sadguru is the ultimate karma through which any spiritual seeker can achieve the ultimate goal of finding that God, seeking that divine light. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hand back to Sadhguru Saurabhji.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar, for your rendition of the Swarved. It appears to me probably that the spiritual pathway is so subtle and microscopic that without seva or without service, the seeker does not get the requisite humility to enter and probably pursue the path of spirituality. We shall continue with the thought of today's topic, seva, and I would now like to introduce our guest speaker for today's session. He is a humble disciple. He is a practitioner of Vihangam Yoga meditation for 19 years. Professionally, a mechanical engineer, MBA. He has led international IT projects for large global conglomerates. Presently, he is based in Mumbai, working as the Chief Technology Officer with one of the leading fintech-based non-bank finance companies. He describes himself as an extremely fortunate soul to have been given multiple opportunities to represent Vihangam Yoga at large international forums. He has also conducted hundreds of corporate workshops in India and overseas. May I request the audience to welcome Mr. Lalit Gunjan Singh, and maybe request him to help us appreciate the various nuances of seva or service.
मैं अपराधी जन्म का नख शिख भरा विकार, तुम दाता दुख भंजना मेरी करो समार। नहीं जीवन नहीं ज्ञान बल, केवल आश्रय सेव, देव सदा फल वंदहि, नमो नमो गुरुदेव। Hello everyone, Jai Sadgurudev. So, many of you would have heard of this concept of worm holes in the field of space travel. What are wormholes? So, if you want to cross a galaxy, it's like many light years of work. But you can actually transcend to different galaxial structures thousands of light years apart with the help of a wormhole. Usually scientists say that these are more like space-time distortions, and there is a way to travel thousands of light years in space. If you know the concept of mergers and acquisitions in the field of an organization's growth. So usually, if you want to acquire inorganic growth beyond the normal organic growth, you acquire a lot of companies, you merge with similar companies, and you become big in almost no time. The same way, the spiritual growth is a journey of lifetimes. Sometimes it is said that it is a millions of lifetimes journey, and with the help of Satguru Seva, this can be achieved in almost no time. And that is when saints say that koti janma ka panth tha, pal mein diya lakhaye. This is a journey which takes millions of lifetimes, and if he wants, he can take you there in a moment's time. And how he wants, how he can be prasanna with you, how can he be happy with you? By the means of seva. The Satguru Seva is the tool to shorten the path, the journey of spiritual awakening. Interestingly, so there are two things we are talking about. One is Satguru Seva and second is spiritual growth. Tell me, do you know what spiritual growth means? So usually for us it's a very very popular concept. People understand, they believe that they understand what spiritual growth means. Now, there was a time when, I think it's 16th century, when people believed that earth is flat. And there was a person called Galileo who said, no, it's round, and people actually put him to death, right? So many a times the popular beliefs can be very contradicting, can be misnomers, and we cannot be sure of them being true. Okay, so then you might like to apply your mind, your intellect, and try understanding what spiritual growth means. But then spirituality is something which can be achieved beyond the zone of mind.
Optimum's best offer
there.
Ever just got even better. Get 300
Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa is how the sages say it. They say that mind and intellect, they just cannot reach there. The faculties that you know of. So what are the faculties that you usually know of? You know of your sense organs, your organs of deeds, your mind, your intellect. These cannot reach to the zone where you reside, where your spirit resides, where spirituality resides, where God resides. It's like going into a different realm. If you follow the Avengers series, you follow Dr. Stephen. So, I mean, do you see how he creates the realms, various realms? He transcends into different realms. He's there somewhere, and he creates a realm by waving his hands, and he reaches to Himalayas, he reaches to some different zone, some different maybe planet. So this obviously is an imagination, an act of imagination, but interestingly, the world that you see outside here, there is a world within. It's altogether a different realm, and all the faculties that help you know this world, they cannot help you know that world. That's a separate realm. Yes, you can reach there, but interestingly, do you know who you are? Only you can reach there, only you can transcend there. But today, the way you are identified, it's very different. Your mind, your intellect, your eyes, your ears, all of these, where they open to what they can talk about, what they can discuss about, what they can decipher about, all of these are part of this realm that we all are living day in and day out. And there is a realm waiting for you. There is another realm, that's your true realm. All the sages, all the saints, they have always said that the journey of this life is about reaching to that realm, rather to know that you actually belong to that realm. And once you do that, why do I do that? Once you do that, once you can know what your true realm is, how you come to know who you truly are, your infinite potentials. Today, whatever you are trying to achieve in this world, in essence, you are trying to achieve sukh, the true bliss. And the sages say that they are not found here. So how do you reach there? You reach how? Your mind cannot tell. Yes, you can tell, your soul can tell. But sir, can you hear the voice of your soul? Is sleeping giant. The giant is not awakened yet. So your mind cannot tell, your popular beliefs can be misleading, and your soul is sleeping. How do you know then? You know by the grace of Sadguru. Sadguru tells you, Sadguru knows exactly how to transcend into that realm. That's called spiritual realm. And once you start getting the spiritual growth, all that you know in the name of spirituality, in the name of spiritual growth, that starts coming to you. You start becoming a better person, you start becoming a better citizen, your mind starts getting captured, you become a different person, you become more patient, you start behaving very differently, your control on mind increases multifold, your concentration increases, decision making power improves. All of these are natural offshoots of the main growth that happens within you, which is your transcendation into your true realm. And that is triggered by Sadguru, the entity who has been there for time immemorial, who has come from eternity. And he knows exactly where you are stuck, and he knows exactly where you have to go, and he knows exactly what is the path charted to reach there. That is why following his adesh, doing as it is what he is instructing you to do, is important in the field of spirituality. And following what he is saying is actually called Satguru Seva. What is Seva? There are various definitions that people, services towards humanity, feeding people, all of these are part and parcels of Seva. There is no doubt about it. But Seva is, in a nutshell, sometimes this can be misleading. What you know of Seva, that sometimes can be misleading. For example, you give some money to someone and he goes and drinks wine out of it, So what happens then? That money actually creates a bad karma for you. Do you know that? You gave it right with right intents, but the end use of your resources define the karma that you did. Oh, so it is so frustrating. It is, and hence you should rather do what he says, because he knows exactly what and where your welfare resides. You don't know. All of us don't know what is good for us, what is bad for us. He knows exactly what is good for us, what is bad for us, and hence doing exactly what he says. Let him decide what and how should we do the seva. And there are humans. There was this Ambika ji from Bihar, all that he heard from Swamiji was that he has to gather a lot of food grains for ashram, because when disciples come, there is nothing to feed, and it is actually bought. So all that he did was he started looking after the ways and means to increase food grains in ashram throughout his life. All that he did was this, and Sadguru showed him, took him through the journey of his spiritual growth. He knew exactly what spirituality is by the grace of Sadguru. The same way, there was this guy who was asked to just make flour out of the wheat that is given to him. And he just kept doing this for 14 long years. And there is a day when Sadguru walks to him and says that, today is your seva getting completed. I'm so happy with you. Come, let me take you to your abode. The process of homecoming. Who will describe it for you? It's such a wonderful experience. It's such an wonderful experience. So it's a journey that you can travel only with the help of Sadguru. He knows exactly how the path can be shortened, and that's exactly what he does for you. Everyone, all of us. Why do we call him Sadguru? He can be a guru with distinguished qualities, but he is Sadguru because he is my guru, he is your guru, he is the guru of entire universe. He knows exactly what should be the path that will lead, what is the shortest path for me to reach to my spiritual zone. He knows exactly what is the shortest path for you to reach to your spiritual home, your abode. He knows exactly. And all of us are so different. All of us have their own journeys of lifetimes actually. We behave differently, we act differently, we react differently. So he knows exactly where we stand today. And in this vicious cycle of life and death, wherever we stand, he can pick up right from there and chart the shortest path for us. Following that path is called Satguru Seva. Follow that path as it is. That Seva can come to you directly through him, through Amrit Manis, through his disciples who are so-called office bearers of this institution called Vihangam Yoga Sansthan. They can come in any form, and whatever way it reaches you, just participate in that. The biggest seva of Sadguru is spreading the knowledge of Brahma Vidya. There can be a lot of seva that you can do to humanity, but there cannot be any greater seva than making them begin on the journey within, on the journey to divinity, on the path of Brahma Vidya, Vihangam Yoga. So it is important that we too participate in our own ways. Dhan kaya man vachan se sant param guru sev arat deen adheen ho anugami gurudev. You can serve in so many ways, and people around you who are experts, who have been designated as office bearers of this institution, people like Shri Vijay Kumar ji and everyone around. You just get in touch with them and ask what is the Sadguru Seva for me, and they will help you with that. And trust that Sadguru is right there with you. Sadguru is not a body. Sadguru is right there with you. When you ask the first time, actually from within, when you ask it really, what is Sadguru Seva for me? Oh, he has already reached you. He's already there with you. He's an energy, he's a Shakti, he's a power, he's just there. He's not a body, he's not a physical body. So know him, believe in him, and listen to his disciples who have been designated, and the Adesh, the Satguru Adesh comes through them, and just follow the instructions as it is and trust that these are the shortest means for spiritual growth. Satguru Seva धर्म सम जग में बड़ न कोई धर्म, Guru Seva dharma bad bhai. So there is nothing bigger than Satguru Seva. Do spend some time almost every day, if not every day, at least once a week. Do spend some time in Satguru Seva. And trust me, there cannot be any better way to bring balance in your life. There is a journey outside, there is a journey within, and Sadguru guides us in the journey within. Once you start traveling on that journey, both the worlds balance and you strike the perfect, the most optimum balance of living the life, the work-life balance or personal, professional balance that we keep talking about. Trust me, do Seva, and you will strike that optimal balance automatically. Jai Sadgurudev.
Thank you very much, Mr. Singh, for your remarkable presentation on the concept of Seva or service. You also gave us a glimpse into the vast spiritual domain, actually. It seems to me, listening to your talk, that Seva actually shortens the path towards our spiritual progress. Great. So after these wonderful back-to-back discourses, do we, the audience, have a better idea of what is Seva? Why do we need to do Seva? How do we need to do Seva? When and to whom do we need to do Seva? Are there any queries cropping up in your mind right now? Or do you have any lingering queries on the issue of either Seva or any other topic related to spirituality? I welcome the audience to share their thoughts and raise their questions through two means. One, on the internet, go to the site www.slido.com/VYGOS. That is www.slido.com/VYGOS, or through our WhatsApp number +1 646 653 4926. Again, the WhatsApp number is +1 646 653 4926. We are assembling the question queue right now, so please send us your questions. We have with us a very powerful Q&A panel from both sides of the world. Mr. Shekhar is a quality and compliance professional from Sydney, Australia, who also presented to us the thoughts from the Swarved. Mr. Abhinav is a software engineer based in Sydney. Mr. Vijay is a software engineer from New Jersey, USA, and a co-founder of Navy, the North American Institute of Vihangam Yoga, and he is its current president. All the panel members are long-term practitioners of Vihangam Yoga, and this erudite panel will take up a few very interesting questions from the audience today. Please welcome Mr. Shekhar, Mr. Abhinav, and Mr. Vijay. While we assemble the question queue, let us get the thoughts of the panel members on what they think or what their thoughts are about Seva or service. So could I start with you, Mr. Shekhar, and I request you to give us a very brief overview of what you understand by Seva and what is its importance.
Thank you, Saurabhji. I think this is a one question which every audience would be keen to understand. What is our point of view? In general, everybody understands that Seva is offering one or the other type of selfless service to someone who is in need of that. But when you are looking at from a spiritual point of view, the two people whom you are actually trying to serve. First of all, you're trying to do something or offer some sort of seva which helps you in your spiritual growth. And the second would be a person whom once you have received and achieved some sort of growth by walking a path, you are then trying to share that with somebody else whose life can also get enlightenment through your efforts. In brief, that's what I would like to say.
Can I request Mr. Abhinav to share his thoughts on Seva?
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Saurabhji, and it's a pleasure to join such a wonderful group of spiritual seekers and teachers. My perspective on Seva is it comes down to the nature of energy. So in spirituality, we're embarking upon a path where we're trying to understand the nature of our energy and the energy which the rishis found that there was a source of energy in this cosmos. And the name given to that energy does not matter. But they found that the name of that energy, and they gave the name of that energy to be the supreme consciousness or God or Allah, or in any cultural or religious format, we can give a name to that energy. And Seva connects our energy with the energy of the cosmos. If we perform an action in which our actions are benefiting the state of energy in our immediate environment or in the life of someone who we are trying to help, then we have performed a source of Seva. We've performed an action of Seva. And so I think Seva and spiritual growth go hand in hand, because spiritual growth is all about understanding energy, and Seva is all about understanding how to maximize the positivity, the positive energy in the universe. And as Lalitji alluded to in his discourse, the person, the entity who can understand this network of energy the best is the master. And so we all seek guidance from the master so that we can benefit as many people as we can.
Thank you. Can I request Vijay ji also to share his thoughts on what he understands by Seva?
Yeah, thank you everybody, and thank you Saurabhji for having me here. For me, Seva is my language to express my love. If I love my Guru, I would like to do everything possible to adhere to what he wants. So in very shortest answer, I will say, for me, Satguru Seva is to express my love for my Guru. Thank you.
So on this thought, there is a question from the past which I would like to pose to you. In one of the past sessions, it was said that while sitting in meditation, we need a photo or statue of the Sadguru before us. Why do we need it, Mr. Vijay?
Well, this is very deep, actually, if we really want to understand how this happens. See, Sadguru mentioned in the regular prayer that we do every day, he said, Adhikar manav jati iske prem dhara jin baha jigyasupan se dev shiksha kari pariksha rat raha. So what it means is, the growth in meditation or growth in spiritual journey depends on how tightly we are bound with our master through the thread of love, through the thread of prem dhara. If there's a incessant flow of love from you to the master and from master to you, that defines how tightly you're bound. And it is that thread of love which is going to hold us from falling down to the deep mud of this sansar. We are amidst the mud of this creation where if you're not alert, then you're just going to get dirty. And how can you hold yourself isolated from the mud? It is only when you have some thread hanging for you to hold on to. So one of that thread is Satguru Seva. Now when you keep Satguru photo in front of you, it is easy for you to express your love for the master before you sit for meditation. You have Satguru photo in front of you. It is easy to express love for the master when you have his photo in front of you. Now, what is the significance of expressing love for the master? As I said, it is just through the expression of your love, you are strengthening the thread between you and the master. And when that thread is tight and strong, you sit in meditation, there'll be a flow of energy, a pulling force, which will start working between you and the master. How strong that pulling force is, or how strong you feel, totally depends on how strong you are keeping the thread of love between you and the master. Shuddha Hans Vahi Shakti Sambandha Khiche Nij Dishi Samajnanda Sadguru Dishi Sushman Kriya Jave Ghumtahi Sadhaka Aage Ave. What this means is that only those who have the pure heart, who has become pure from inside and has the purest love for the master, immediately experience a tremendous force working from the photo of the master. Yes, from the photo of the master, you find a spur of energy pulling you towards the photo. To explain it in the real example, I was, in Gaya, Manpur Gaya in Bihar, India, in childhood, living with joint family. And in the worship room, Satguru photo is in certain alignment. And my mother and my bhabi, the sister-in-law, they are kind of in a state of meditation where this pulling force works with them. So they would sit in different directions. And what we find during the process of meditation is part of our worship. So during that time, both of them from different directions will start drifting while they are meditating. Their body will start drifting in meditation towards Satguru photo. As if it is very clear that they are as if bound to some thread which is originating from Satguru photo, and that thread is pulling them. Satguru clarifies in this doha, Sadguru Dishi Sushman Kriya Jave Ghumatai Sadhak Aage Ave. And also further clarifies that the other disciples who have not established that strong thread between the Guru and himself or herself will not understand this force. They are blind to this force. So this force works only between the Guru and a devotee, a disciple who has devoted, who have developed the deep devotion for the master. This is why we need Guru. Guru photo is just one mode of transmitting Sadguru energy to you and to help you in the process of meditation. Thank you.
Great thought, Vijay. You talked about a lot of threads, so I'm picking up a thread from what you said, which relates to the next question as well. So It is said that the Sadguru is of a lot of importance, but the new practitioner does not seem to have developed a relationship with the Sadguru. So how does the new practitioner develop faith and trust in the Sadguru? I would direct this question to the Australian duo of Shekhar ji and Abhinav ji.
Yeah, thank you, Saurabh. So we have only a couple of minutes left, so I'll try to be as short as possible. I think for me, this is a very personal question. I started my journey 10 years ago, and I had a healthy amount of skepticism. And I think that's actually a very good thing in hindsight. So you have to start being a skeptic, but you also have to commit to something. So I committed to meditating twice a day, which was the instruction of the master. And I dealt with it with a healthy amount of skepticism. I'd observe if there were changes in myself, and I would treat the Svaraved as the kind of the source of truth. If the Svaraved was really true, if the things I was experiencing or observing were written in the Svaraved, then I was more assured that this philosophy and this meditation, the actual practice of the philosophy, are aligned. And in my experience, they were very much aligned. In fact, it exceeded all my expectations, which is why I still meditate. And even if the entire world stops meditating and practicing, I will continue because I've seen the change for myself. So it's a very short answer and a very personal answer, and there's a lot more to this question, but that is what I'd like to mention for today.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhinav ji. And we, in the interest of time, we would now move to the concluding item of today's session. So we sincerely hope and wish that you, the audience, enjoyed the session. It was a great pleasure bringing this session to you, and we look forward to having you with us in future sessions of the VYGOS. With this, we come to a close of today's session. May you all have a great week ahead. Pranam to all of you. Sadguru Daya. Goodbye.
सदा फल शांतिमय शांति शांति सुख शांति।